Okay, I'm back again with another weekly market Forex forecast. So I've selected a few pairs what I think might yield some potential opportunities for this week. So the first one we're going to look at is the Euro Yen. So I've marked a level here. We have made a fractal there. You can see we've made a high. We came down, made a fractal there and went back up, bounced off Tenkan-sen, and now we're attempting to bounce off Tenkan-sen again. And as you can see, we came down, made a fractal there, and then we moved back up. And now we don't really know what we're doing at the moment, but if we get some sort of price action here on this fractal, price is bullish at the moment, but you can see we made a big long leg doji there, more or less, where it was indecision on the Tenkan-sen. Chico's below price. We've had a bearish TK cross, which was started above the cloud, and now the Tenkan-sen and Kijun-sen are inside the cloud, and we're just turning over the Kumo. So all signals on the Ichimoku are bearish. So what I'm waiting for now on this Euro Yen 4 hour is some price action here on this level here, where I've put this grey line. And if we get a rejection candle or some sort of bearish engulfing, I'll probably put my entry here somewhere, 129.84 area, with a stop loss just above the Tenkan-sen, round about 130.03. So that'd be about, I'd probably make that at least 20 pips stop loss. In fact, I'd probably make it 30 pips. So I might enter just a bit lower than Tenkan-sen. Probably enter at 129.80 and have me stop just slightly above that fractal, just to be on the safe side. Don't like having my stop loss too small. Don't really like having my stop loss less than 25-30 pips, because the market needs room to move. So probably just above that fractal, which is above Tenkan-sen and above the bottom of the cloud. So about 130.10 stop loss, entry probably 129.80, and take it to the downside. And it looks quite a good trade, that one, if it works out. That's if we get the price action. I'll just have a quick look at the daily, but like I've always said, I usually just trade my time frame. Yeah, the daily's not telling us anything really. I mean, if anything, it's going to give us the opposite bias, because we've got a flat Kijun-sen there, and we're currently bouncing off that flat Kijun-sen. And if we're trading the daily, we'd probably be trading it to the upside. So I just trade my time frame. I don't see any point in looking at multiple time frames. Just adds confusion to everything, to your trades. So we don't want to confuse things. So that's the Euro Yen. Like I say, that daily looks like it's going to go up to the. It looks like it's been ranging anyway, and now it looks like it's going to the upside. But I'm not convinced because of the 4 hour. So let's just go back to the 4 hour a minute. I'm just studying it. Let's see if we've got any. We need to look left. See, that 4 hour looks bearish to me. So if I get some price action here, bearish, I'm going to take that trade to the downside, because we'll have a Kumo breakout as well, which is a high probability setup. And that's what we're aiming for, high probability setups. And you know, it's a nice small stop loss, 30 pips. And if it's going to go higher, like it's indicating on that daily, I think it'll probably just go higher from here, and it won't trigger us in. It is trying to break above Tenkan-sen slightly, but the Kijun-sen's flat. So usually, well, sometimes if the Kijun-sen stays flat and Tenkan-sen gets far away from Kijun-sen, it might pull back slightly. But we've got this fractal here, this strong fractal level, and we've got some little fractals there as well. So that's the Euro Yen. The USD Yen. Now this, I think this might pull back for a counter trend trade, because we bounced here. I'll put a line on. We bounced off the we made a low there, so we've got a double bottom here. There's enough space between this low and this low for it to be a double bottom. So we made a double bottom. So I see potential in pulling right back up to the Kumo bottom here, because we're starting to get quite far from Kijun-sen as well, and you can see how the Tenkan-sen's pointing down quite significantly. So we have had some good movement here to the downside, and I think we could see a bit of pullback now. I think it'll go further than pulling back just to the Tenkan-sen though, purely because of this. Purely because we're not really in a trend. We've bounced and we made a double bottom, so I think there'll be a lot of traders trading this to the upside, at least, you know, to the Kumo bottom on a counter trend trade. So that's your USD Yen. Moving on to the Aussie Yen. This Aussie Yen, we've got a Kumo breakout, but it's not valid yet because we haven't got any turnover here. We've had a TK cross above the cloud, which is a weak signal. Okay, so bearish TK cross above the cloud is a weak signal. Inside the cloud is medium signal, and below is a strong signal. So that's how we read the TK cross signals. We have to take note of whether it's above, in the middle, in the cloud, or below the cloud. So that's a weak signal above the cloud, and now we're just bouncing off this Kumo bottom at the moment. It's not really showing me any potential opportunity at the moment, but we might get this crossover eventually, and then the setup will become valid when we get the signals. Chico's just trying to get out of the way of Kijun-sen there, so if we can probably break a little below, we might even make a fractal. If we make a fractal there, we can put an entry at the break of that fractal, or if we close below that fractal, depending on how you want to trade. When we're trading fractals, we can take the break, or you can wait for the close. It just depends how aggressive or conservative you want to be in your trading. So that's the Aussie Yen. Not a lot at the moment. Might take 2 or 3 days before that materialises, and that's a 4-hour chart. So Pound USD. This gave us a really good opportunity a few days ago. I missed it, but I was waiting for another trade on the USD, the Pound USD. I was waiting for it to pull back to this fractal level, and it didn't pull back. And now it's getting quite far from Tenkan-sen and Kijun-sen, and now you can see it's just going higher. We expected it to pull back slightly because of the movement up, and then, as you can see, I've got this daily Kijun-sen on here as well, and it's broke through that daily Kijun-sen. It could have quite easily bounced off that and then pulled back, and then we could have had a trade there and took it to the upside. So quite disappointing that didn't pull back It pulled back slightly, but not far enough. We want it right back to the level before we trade. We don't just want it pulling back halfway. We want it right back to the level. Preferably one of these two indicators, these Tenkan-sen and Kijun-sen. Preferably one of them. But it didn't do that, so now we don't want to enter now, it's too late. So that's the pound USD. So we'll have to wait for a pullback now on that one. It's too late to just enter now, because you could enter now and then it'd start pulling back. It can pull back any time. So we don't want to enter late, and the stop loss will be a lot bigger as well. So Euro Aussie. Here you can see we pulled back. We've been in a downtrend, then we started ranging for a while, and now we've just pulled back to the Kijun-sen daily and the 4-hour Kijun-sen. By the way, this is another reason why I don't look at the daily, because I've got the daily Kijun-sen on here anyway, so I don't really need to look at the daily. Maybe if I didn't have this on, this daily Kijun-sen, I'd probably look at the daily just for the bias. But you can get a general overview of what's going on when you just look at the 4-hour, in my opinion, because there's enough information here, just in this, to tell me whether it's a viable trade or not. Now I don't need to start looking at dailies and weeklies and all that lot. There's just no need, because it's this. There's this good few days here. If you count the candles, 6 4-hour candles to a day. So if you count those, we've got a good few, maybe 2 or 3 weeks here of information. So I don't need to start looking at dailies and weeklies and things like that. So I'm trading the 4 hours, so that's what I'm trading, and I can see what's going on here. Maybe if it was ranging for quite a while, I might have a glance at the daily just to have a look at the overall bias if I couldn't see it on the 4-hour. But very rarely do I go back to the daily if I'm trading the 4-hour. So we're just waiting on this price action here. You can see looks like we're trying to make a hangman there, which would be a good, if it closes as a hangman, we could probably put an entry here just below this Kijun-sen and trade it to the downside, because you can see we've got lots of fractals there, and we've got indecision here, another bit of a fractal there. So this is quite a significant level here. So we could probably place an entry below that candle even, depending on the stop loss. 4947 entry, and stop loss probably 4987, something like that. So 40 pip stop loss, so that's okay. And trade it to the downside. So I could set an entry there. So that's the Euro Aussie. Moving on to the Euro CAD. We made a low here, and we pulled back to the Tenkan-sen, bounced off the Tenkan-sen, made another bit of a low, slightly higher low. Now we want to see if we can break this fractal here, because we made a higher low here. See that fractal there? This one's higher, so we've not broken that low fractal. We made a higher low, so now we want to wait and see if we can break this fractal here. If we can break this fractal, price is probably going to go to the upside. So we're just waiting on whether we can break this fractal here. We could put a pending order there, just on that fractal, or we could wait for a close. It's better to wait for a close though, for a confirmation. So that's the Euro CAD, USD CAD. Now there's no opportunity on this, but I want to just show you something that's very significant. You can see price made a high here, came down, we made a couple of lows here, and now we've been ranging for the past few days on this pair on the 4-hour. But what I want you to see is the Kijun-sen's totally flat. Okay? And the Tenkan-sen, look how it's pointing down. Okay? And it's curving round. So that this could indicate that price is going to pull all the way back up to Kijun-sen, because it's because the Kijun-sen's so flat and it went down so fast, and now we're ranging. So I think we could see a pullback to the Kijun-sen. Now I'm not going to trade this. I just wanted to show you the distance between Kijun-sen and price is quite significant. We're starting to get far away from Kijun-sen, and price always likes to pull back to Kijun-sen and get back into an equilibrium. So I just thought I'd show you that, but it's ranging at the moment, and if we wanted to take a counter trend trade, we'd have to wait for a close above this fractal. But I probably wouldn't. I wouldn't do that, because I just wanted to show you this. It probably will pull back, but we don't know how far it's going to pull back. Okay, so that's the seven pairs that I've got on my radar for this week, and we'll see how these play out. I'll see you next time. Bye.